We're down here at the log yard. I'm prepping all the logs that we need for our new addition to our showroom. We're gonna do it all out of log timber frame. The very first step is selecting your logs and getting them peeled. I'm gonna show you a few different stages we have here that you can check out. So here's my pile of peeled logs. The first 5 logs are purlins that will actually be roof rafters. And then this log, I gotta peel another one over there. These are gonna be headers for the rafters to sit on top of. You can see these logs been out for a few weeks already after peeling, so naturally the pine logs are gonna, you know, kind of get that more ambered look. This one I just finished peeling yesterday, so it has a nice bright look, but eventually all the pine logs, they kind of tone down a little bit like that. But we're gonna go over and look at our raw log pile. So this is one of type of log that we carry in inventory for log and timber framing. These are ponderosa pines we order out of South Dakota up in the Black Hills, and we get them in several different sizes. They come up to like 30 to 40 foot long. Our average are 30 foot long logs. But on the ends, you can see how each log, you know, it's natural, so it's gonna have a taper on it. There's big ends, small ends. You know, some logs are perfectly straight, some have, you know, a little bit of a bow to it. So first thing we do is we come in here and pick out logs depending on the specific use for it. But we can simply grab our log that we want, and then we will move it over there to get hand peeled. So these logs, when we order them, they are live trees, so they're green logs. It's really important in a perfect world to try to get winter cut logs, so we try to stockpile during the winter. More moisture and sap is out of the wood as it is dormant, but you can harvest throughout the year. These are live logs, so the peeling is a little bit tougher on them versus a completely dry log. So this is a log I'm currently working on to peel. The first step is to peel off the heavy bark and get down to what you call the cambium layer. You can see how the log is super smooth. It has all the natural like shape of the wood. So this is what they call the cambium layer. It's like once you strip the bark off. And if you were to do a log or timber frame and your idea was to have 100% natural, you never wanted to stain it, you wanted like it to just weather out on its own, peeling it to the cambium layer like this would be your best option. Peel it this far, then power wash a little bit of remainder off. And the idea is if you plan to not ever do a finish, the cambium layer is the natural layer of the log that gives it its own protection. It's like a hard wax. It's like the candy coating on an M&M. That's what the cambium layer is. So this log out in the elements with no stain, no preservatives, on its natural form is gonna last longer. Peeling it just to that cambium layer, not actually cutting all the way through it with a draw knife, and living it with its own natural protection. Now what I'm gonna show you, because this is interior timber framing, and also mostly, the thing is eventually everyone's going to stain the exterior of their log home, so whether down the road it gets sandblasted or something. So we just hand peel all of our logs, and then that way the stain can penetrate it and allow you to do protection. If you try to stain this cambium layer, the stain actually will not stick to it very good, and it'll peel off because that's how good the natural coating is. It prevents very little penetration from a moisture product. We're gonna use our cant hook. This is what I use to spin logs around. And so I peeled the top side. I got a little bit of bark on the bottom, and I just you just hook it a little bit. And I might have to move this log here. And I need to make this bark side top. So do it without spinning. You know what, let me get my gloves on. That sap's so sticky. If you don't wear gloves, your hands will be black. See how with that cambium layer, I can slide it. If that was on the bark, there'd been no way I could have slid it. It would have been too rough. But it's like a natural wax, this layer is. All right, so the two tools we use for peeling logs. This is a draw knife. It's a massive draw knife, 24-inch blade, has some nice weight to it. That's for your finished work. This is a peeling spud. This is what you use to peel the bark off. I like to use a peeling. You could use the draw knife right from the get-go to peel off this rough bark, but I prefer to peel the rough bark off with this first because the bark has a bunch of dirt, as you can see in here. Dirt, junk gets in it. The bark itself is rough on blades. So this is sharp to a very, very sharp point. And I like to keep it clean as possible. So I take the bulk off with this blade first. Makes draw knifing much easier in the long run. Peeling this bark, well, both types of bark peelings is like satisfying the way it peels off. You can see, so look at this here. This shows a perfect difference in layers. So this is where we want to get to. This is this cambium layer. Right here you can see that's right under the bark. That's the cambium, and look how like it literally separates. You can look, it just, so this is where the tree itself begins, and it has that real slippery. So if, like I said, if you're using logs and plan to use no stain, no preservatives whatsoever, the most durable way is to always peel it to the cambium layer and then use a power washer to safely, you know, remove the last little bit. But again, this is interior timber framing. I want the look of the hand peel. It's never gonna see the weather. And even so, if you don't hand peel it, the stain won't penetrate. We're gonna get right to it. So we got the log all peeled up. You can kind of see this weird rust. When they harvested the log, it probably peeled some of the bark off, you know, tore the tree just a little bit, but that's all right. That's part of the reason I like to use a draw knife as well, because I can make this look like that. I can blend it right in. So, draw knife basics. This is our 12-inch draw knife. You can see it's super thick and heavy. You're gonna draw a knife professionally, you're gonna want something like this. They're expensive. It's like 250 bucks or so for this draw knife. You can see how I have it sharpened, do what's called a hollow grind, so I kind of grind out the center a little bit. Then that allows me to file it flat. See, I make it super sharp. You want the bevel side down. It's all about giving the right amount of twist on how much it's gonna dig, and until you kind of learn that sweet spot, it can be tough. On here it kind of sucks because so much dirt. Every little bit of dirt, like chainsaw blades, draw knives, anything that's ultra sharp, even the tiniest amount of dirt just wears them out quicker. So I try to, as much as possible, wipe out the big chunks if it's a spot like that. I'm taking off that cambium layer, so now you can see I'm cutting into the pores of the wood. This is gonna start exposing the grain layers. As you can see now, the grain. You look at the cambium layer, there's no grain. You can't see the grain because we're looking, the cambium is one of the layers of grain. So you're looking at the grain going vertically. Once we peel open, now you're looking at the grain horizontally into it. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but that's how it works. So you can see if I'm holding the angle too flat, it won't go. If I point the angle down way too much, well, it just goes straight in. So it's that sweet spot where, right there, then I can kind of like go a little deeper with it. So then that's the way I would learn it. Peeling slow and learning what type of angle. And after time, you'll just know how to do it nice and quick. something else while peeling. You have to use some upper body, but surprisingly, don't do so much like this. You're gonna get so worn out. Like, don't use your upper body so much. You gotta like pull with your legs, kind of full body thing. Because your upper body is gonna be worn out super quick. So try to utilize that lower body into it.